I believed then, and I believe now, that this summary should be given promptly to the press in order to prevent piecemeal leaks, very possibly inaccurate, and I so stated at the executive hearing of the committee yesterday. This morning it became apparent that 2 or more reporters have seen at least part of the report in question. The American people are interested in the truth of these charges and counter-charges, and I believe it is only proper and right that this document and all other such documents be released promptly to the press, because I'm confident the people want these hearings conducted fairly and on a goldfish bowl basis.
In the interests of impartiality and fair play for all parties on all sides of the controversy which our subcommittee has been called upon to adjudicate, it was unanimously agreed at our last meeting that none of the charges and accusations and none of the replies or countercharges should be released until every principal in the dispute had presented to the committee his statement of the accusations and replies. It was our unanimous intention and desire to then present the full set of presentations by all sides of the controversy to the press and radio in one package, and at the same time, so that the American public could have the full set of facts before it simultaneously. As chairman of the subcommittee, I cannot and will not endeavor to act as the conscience or the policeman for any other member of our group. I sincerely hope, however, that there will be no further unauthorized leaks or releases of material intended for the consideration of our subcommittee, and that as we adopt rules of procedure, they will be complied with fully and equitably.
We've just had a meeting of the New York Central Board of Directors. And I insistently demanded of the Board of Directors that my contract with New York Central be amended so as to give me the right to sever my relations with New York Central if Mr. Young ever has any association with New York Central. The Board reluctantly agreed. I want to tell you why I'm perfectly willing to make this sacrifice. You know, it means giving up a job for the next 9 years. It pays $120,000 a year, and then an association as consultant for 5 years at $75,000 a year, and thereafter $40,000 a year for life. But I think that Mr. Young's presence on New York Central would be so harmful, and that is a matter of such prime importance, and it's secondary to my own security and that of my family, that I'm perfectly willing to sacrifice the benefits of my contract merely for the right that I now have to sever my relations with New York Central should Mr. Young by any possibility ever be associated with New York Central. We're convinced that he never will be, however.
I am more than ever persuaded that if the free world stands firm, the Geneva Conference will advance the cause of freedom in Southeast Asia and the Pacific and safeguard that freedom in peace and justice.
Okay. I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate this vote of confidence the Republicans have given to me. It seems to me this fight has just begun. The big objective is to defeat Mr. Douglas in the fall. I know every loyal Illinoisan will help me do that. The Republican Party stands for justice and peace and prosperity. We're going to go through with Republican principles all the way. I've stood for them from start to finish, and that's the way I'll continue. Thanks, everybody, for a grand evening.
Of course, I'm very happy that I was returned by my own good people to the Congress of the United States. I intend to carry on the work that I have been doing in the same fashion that I have in the past, because certainly it does have the approval of the people of the 18th Congressional District.
Unfortunately, it looks as though this may be a real scandal, and we're awfully sorry about it, but we assure the American people we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to let the chips fall where they may, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to bring any persons who are guilty to trial.
That'll be a tough nut to crack, but we'll crack it. The contractors in these cases secured FHA insurance for an amount which was far in excess of the cost of the construction of the project. This was not one project. This was a widespread pattern and a large volume. For instance, a contractor would secure insurance for a project which cost $8 million, which he secured insurance for $8 million. The project cost him a little over $3 million, and thus he obtained a windfall of more than $4 million. Now, this to us indicates one of two things. It is either culpable negligence on the part of those who appraised the project or collusion, and this requires complete and full investigation.
A bunch of inspectors come out there and nailing some substandard health hazard signs on my places. And when they got over there in the house in front of mine, my wife come out and begged them and pleaded with them not to do it. Rob us of our life's earnings. So when they went over there to our place, she told them not to do it. She started in the house, and the guy started to nail the sign up, and I shot him. Other inspectors standing there pretty close to him, and I shot him. And that one-armed man, Shepard, he was standing there, and I started to shoot him, and I couldn't shoot him without taking a chance on hitting the low. So I let him get by, and he got on by there. I shot at him again. Now, these inspectors have been trying to get him to leave me alone, get up there and swearing them lies on me time after time. They wouldn't do it. So they wanted it, and they got it.
How do you feel about it now?
I'm sorry I had it to do, but I'm glad I did it. Had to do over do it again.
I'm glad it's done. He shouldn't have been trying to rob us. And I'm sorry that it had to be done. But it looked like that they was trying to rob us. So I don't feel too bad about it.
No, I live right out here in the valley, and I along with all the other motorists, I mean, we appreciate this wonderful freeway. I mean that. Freeway. It costs $1 million a foot. They call it a freeway, ladies and gentlemen. But I am thrilled to be here and just face all the people responsible for this wonderful superhighway, the superhighway that's going to enable our California motorists to get to their accidents quicker. And I know that these men have been doing a wonderful job of trying to get this thing finished. There's been a lot of complaints that it took too long, ladies and gentlemen. That's not true. The war delayed us a little bit. The Confederates captured it twice. But it's just wonderful, and I'm going to enjoy it. Of course, I'm going to miss my detour. Seattle's pretty at this time of the year. But I have a job. I have a job here before we cut the ribbon. And I just want to warn you, ladies and gentlemen, you can look back and see all the cars that are ready. So when we cut the ribbon, just synchronize your Band-Aids and jump.
that's read by an otherwise healthy, normal child, in good home life, no other factors are involved, would you say that that would tempt him to go and break into a locker in Grand Central, or must there be other factors present already that give him a predisposition to steal from somebody else?
I would answer that this way. I know no more erroneous theory about child behavior than to assume that children must be predisposed to do anything wrong. I think there's a hairline that separates a boy from dreams about that, to dream about such a thing, and a boy who does it. Now, I don't say, and I never have said, and I don't believe, that the comic book factor alone makes a child do anything. See, the comic book factor only works because there are many, many other factors in our environment, not necessarily the home life, not necessarily the much blamed mother, but there are many other things.
That's the O. Henry fix, Timmy, right?
That's the O. Henry fix.
In other words, everybody reading that up until the last picture would think that this girl was going to go to jail. So the O. Henry change,
no one knows this girl did it.
Makes her a wonderful-looking gal.
No one knows that she did it until the last panel.
And you think that does the children lots of good to read those things, do you?
I don't think it does them a bit of good, sir, but I don't think it does them a bit of harm either.
A man with a bloody axe holding a woman's head up, which has been severed from her body. You think that's in good taste?
Yes, sir, I do. For the cover of a horror comic. A cover in bad taste, for example, might be defined as holding the head a little higher so that the neck could be seen dripping from it, and moving the body over a little further so that the neck of the body could be seen to be bloody.
At the request of the French government, the United States Air Force has undertaken to airlift certain French Union personnel to Indochina. On arrival in Indochina, the planes will land at airfields outside of the zone of combat. The planes then will return to their regular stations. This is in line with present U.S. policy and in conformity with our existing military assistance program.
I'm just delighted with the result of the election today. Not only has it been a win, but it's been a win of such convincing margin there can be no question in the minds of the people as to the fact that they want to continue the Eisenhower program. They are not satisfied with the type of campaigning that my opponent indulged in. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to be part of Ike's team in the coming 2 years, because I'm sure that this overwhelming vote of confidence will mean ultimate victory in the fall campaign against the Democrats.
By unanimous vote this morning, we voted to make Mr. Stu Hensel a party in interest, communicated with him through our counsel, Mr. Jenkins, that he would have all the rights of any of the other principals in this, to have an opportunity to cross-examine and to have opportunity to have counsel, and we requested him to present and prepare a statement presenting his side of this situation.
Now, when the television show of Adams versus Cone is ended, there will be an attempt to put into effect plans that are being very carefully laid over the past months, being laid today. Plans to make it impossible for the investigating committee to continue as an effective instrument to expose and fight the communist conspiracy. I know all of about their plans. They are clever, my good friends, devilishly clever. And some good men are being used with the assurance that they'll be paid off. Can you hear over the hum of that? As I said, some good men are being used with the assurance they'll be paid off by receiving the praise and the plaudits of all the left-wing elements of news, radio, and television.